Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, welcome back. Today I want to play with my alcohol ink some more, although this time I'm just going to be playing with some alcohol lift ink and trying some techniques I saw during the recent Tim Holtz live where he was showing the new alcohol ink colors. So I've done some backgrounds, and if you watched my last video, I did a whole bunch of backgrounds on camera, and then when I was getting ready to start planning out this video, I realized none of them were what I wanted for doing the alcohol lifting techniques. So I created a whole bunch more, and I'll let you know what colors I used for these guys. So this one is Lake Mist, Mushroom, Juniper, and Patina. This one is, I forgot to write it on the back. I'm gonna say Mushroom, Monsoon, and one of the brighter blues, maybe Glacier. This one is just straight up, I think, Crimson. This one is straight up, oh no, it's Vineyard and Boysenberry. This one is Everglade, Citrus, and Meadow. And then this one is a whole bunch of colors. Lemonade, Terra Cotta, Red Pepper, Sunset Orange, Sunset Yellow, Sunshine Yellow, Cranberry, Currant, and Mushroom. And then this one is Lake Mist, Monsoon, Cobalt, Glacier, Denim, Mushroom, Juniper. So yeah, I had a whole bunch of play. I just went to town with my alcohol inks and just made a whole bunch of backgrounds. So what we are going to do first is stamp using the alcohol lift ink. Now what this does is when you stamp down on it, it will lift up the alcohol ink in the impression of what you stamped with. So let me go ahead and show you by getting out my mouse pad to give some squishiness for stamping with. And let's start with this guy. And I am gonna grab a stamp block and pull out a stamp. And I forgot to pick what stamp I wanted to use. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so these two stamps are from Documented, which is CMS426. And then this one is from Warehouse District, which is CMS124. And what we're going to do is we're gonna do each one individually. And I've got a second piece of paper, which I dropped on the floor and so has dirt all over it now, because when you lift the ink off, it will be on your stamp, so you can then stamp it on another piece of paper and create, you know, get two backgrounds for the price of one. So we're just gonna start with this guy, pull over our alcohol lift ink. Gonna ink up the stamp. Oh, I need one more thing. A paper towel, because you have to wipe the ink off the alcohol piece. Wow, apparently I had some kind of ink on this stamp and it wasn't clean, although I didn't think I realized you'd use this stamp before. Okay. So I'm gonna press down and use my little stamp pressing tool to get a good impression. I'm gonna lift, and see, you can kind of see it starting already, but what I want to do is put down my paper towel and pat it on. Like, you don't want to rub, because then you're just going to smear the ink. I'm just going to keep patting until I get all of the ink up that'll come up. Let me grab one more paper towel, because Tim Holtz kind of did a rub once he stopped pulling ink off. Wow, I'm still pulling ink off. Like, I think because I went such a dark and heavy-handed over here that... All right, so I don't know. Hopefully you can see it's lifted up the ink. So you've got the impression in, you know, white over here. And then we're just gonna take the stamp and stamp the alcohol ink on this piece of paper. That's kind of cool. And I'll probably just take some rubbing alcohol and give my stamp a further clean off camera. So let's bring this over and do the next section. You know what? I think some of the ink is rubbing off. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with... Wow. And I didn't even have alcohol. Yeah, I don't know why some of my alcohol inks seem to be like coming off on my fingers, but that was what was on that stamp because I had laid it in place. So, all right. So again, we're gonna press down. Good press, lift, set it aside, put this on. Oh, that looks really cool. I really like how that stamp came out on here. All right, let's stamp it on here. I think I made... You know what? Because this piece is a little bit different size than that piece, I'm gonna grab another one. Or stick them together. I'm gonna go like that. So we've got some on that one and some on this one. And then let's do the last one up here. Came out really good too. Very cool. That is cool. I like that. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. Let's bring this piece over and stamp. Might as well try and capture bit that's going to go off. Okay, let's set that one aside. Now I did do, let's see, I want to do, let's see how it works with a red where I just kind of put the color all over, and what I want to use is from the Tim Holtz Poinsettia and see how that goes. I think I'm going to do that there. Grab another piece and have that ready. I'm going to see if I can get some of this ink off the pad since, yeah, not happy about my pad being all stained already. Make sure there's nothing on there. Re-inker it. All right, let's see how this one does. Now I suspect I'm not getting as good of a lift because I'm doing it on red, and red tends to be more of a staining effect. And I'm gonna do a little bit more stamping up here, but let's stamp this off onto a piece of paper. Because yeah, I get a good impression when I stamp it off, so it's definitely lifting, but it's really subtle and hard to see on here. Scripty bit over here, and I just had a bit of a Crafty off to my side. So yeah, we still, it's subtle. I want to try, let's see if the green works better. How that does. Oh, I forgot to stamp this off. Let's do that because I don't know how far got script wise. Okay. Let's see about the green. Let's see how that does. And I'm gonna use the Festive Collage CMS426. Try this guy and see how this does. That did not work very well at all. So the green, I mean, I can see it. I hold it up to the light. Yeah, you can kind of see some of it, a little bit, if you look real close. All right, let's stamp that onto here. Okay, so I trimmed this piece down. We're gonna do some more alcohol lift stamping on this one because I want to do a technique with translucent paste, and so I trimmed it down so it will fit my stencil perfectly. And I'm gonna use Faded Type CMS397, and I'm trying to think which one I want to use. I think I want to use this one. And I'm gonna stamp some here, and then I'm gonna stamp it down there. Ooh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to get another cleanup, like a piece to stamp off on, although I can probably add some of that to this one. So we'll use this one. Okay, don't mind me, I'm kind of rambling to myself. It happens sometime. All right, let's get a block. You'd think I would have gotten this already before going back on camera, but no. Oh, okay, I'm gonna do this top corner. So I'm gonna ink up my stamp. Stamp over here, give it a good press, wipe it off with a paper towel. Ooh, this one's working really well. I think what I'm finding is the thicker, darker alcohol inks are harder to lift, which is not really surprising if you think about it, because you're having to pull more ink off. So the spots that are using lighter inks lift a bit better because there's less ink buildup. So you have less layers of ink to try and pull off with the lift ink. So yeah, definitely, because you'll notice really good here. Didn't quite get it all off down there. Although I think, oh wait, that 5 cuts off right there. So that's why. But like the D over here, where it's a little darker, did not lift as much as where it is in lighter spots. So that does make sense if you think about it. Let's stamp this off on here. And I'm gonna give this one a good clean because I'm gonna go back onto the lifting and I don't want to transfer any alcohol ink onto this any more than I've already done. Let's grab some isopropyl alcohol, one of our paper towels. All right, and then I'm gonna do it again down here. Any more on there? Oh, wow, there is. So, all right, I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna set aside the alcohol lift pad for now because we're gonna do something different. And I'm gonna grab, oh, I've got like, this is about all of the space I have on my desk right now because I've got so much stuff out. I need to have a bit of a clean up. Okay, so what we're now going to do is apply some translucent paste to the piece. And I am gonna grab my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station because it's got magnets so I can hold down my piece and my stencil, and I need to grab something else. I'll be right back. Okay, what I have done is I've grabbed a dish of water because we're going to be using pastes, because you don't want to leave paste sit on your stencils because it will ruin your stencils. And I'm just grabbing some repositionable tape to help hold this piece down since it's smaller than the stencil. And I've tried using, I bought the media grip mat stuff by Tim Holtz. I swear it does not work for me at all. It does not grip anything. So yeah, I was very disappointed in that. And I'm just gonna use my magnets to hold this in place. And I'm gonna grab my texture paste translucent. Now you want a translucent paste for this because you want to be able to see our stamping through whatever paste you add. So if you use an opaque paste, you're just going to be covering up what we've done here. So I'm going to grab a palette knife and just spread paste. I think I'm going to cover the whole thing with this stencil and just do a thin coat. Because yeah, you don't want to leave texture paste on your stencil. So if you don't feel like getting up right away to clean off your stencil, you're going to want to have a dish of water that you can just toss the stencil into. All right, so I'm just going to toss the stencil into my bowl of water so that the paste stays wet on it and I can clean it off later. And I'm gonna set this guy aside and let the paste dry completely. And what we're gonna do afterwards is add some of the lift ink to pull off the color where there isn't stenciling. So the stenciling will like serve as a resist and keep it coated, and then we can lift the rest off. Now, when I was watching the Tim Holtz live and he was doing it with the texture paste translucent, I thought, gee, I wonder if we could try doing it with the texture paste sparkle, because that's a translucent paste as well. So we're gonna bring back our poinsettia one that didn't turn out great but has some stuff going on there, and use this stencil, which is a Tim Holtz CMS426. Did I say THMS426? Because it's a mini stencil. And I'm gonna just stick it there, and we're not gonna do the whole thing. We're probably just gonna do some of the leaves over here to create some interesting, but some texture up here. But I thought, let's give sparkle a try and see how that works. So I've got, this is the texture paste sparkle, which is a seasonal release. I don't know if they're coming out with it again this year, probably because they released, I watched the Tim Holtz Ranger live this weekend, and they did have the Crypt out again and the glow from last year's Halloween, so I suspect the sparkle was really popular and they're going to do the sparkle again for Christmas. But if you didn't pick it up last year, just keep an eye out to see, because it is a seasonal product. I'm trying to decide if I want to do some more along here, and you know what, I think I will. Let's just do a little bit more. And as with the last piece, I'm gonna take my stencil off, drop it into my bowl of water so that it does not get stuck on. All right, so we need to let those dry before we do anything else with them. And actually, I got little bits here that I think I'm just gonna lift off. We're gonna set that one aside. And I did want to try another technique using the stencil and the lift ink. So let's do this and grab a stencil. I need to find a stencil. I'll be right back. So I grabbed a Stamperia stencil, and I think the number is KSTD156. It doesn't actually have a name on here. And decide, kind of want to do the train. I'm gonna see how well this is gonna work. Actually, let's pull it down a little bit more. I did not. Let's put a little of the removable adhesive down to help hold him in place. Kind of do it so it's straight, and pull that down a little just so I have more room for putting my magnet. And what we're going to do is use a dauber and the lift ink to lift through the stencil. See how this goes. I may need to put a little of the re-inker out. I may need more. Oh, that's working. May not be able to tell, but it is lifting. I can tell. It's definitely lifting the ink. Wipe that off on there. I think Tim Holtz used, he used his mini dauber, which I've ordered some because I figured they'd work better for this. Because you know what I can do, which might work a little better, is put a little directly on the sponge. This is the re-inker for the lift ink. But yeah, I ordered the new alcohol ink colors, and I ordered some mini daubers and some other stuff from one of the online stores I shop at, is Only One Life Creations. I'll try and remember to leave a link to them down below, because they have really good prices and it's not like a big box store kind of thing. And they did like a pre-order on the newest Tim Holtz stamp release and on the alcohol inks, and they were doing 5% off for the pre-order, but it's still showing on pre-order. And it's been like 3 weeks. I'm hoping soon I will get my stamps and my inks. So may want to check it out if you are interested in either of the Tim Holtz new releases. I know they've also got the mica stains for Halloween on pre-order. So check it out, because it was 5% off your order in addition to their discounted price on the items. So that is one of my go-to places for Tim Holtz stuff, because they sell it at a discount. Don't know that we're going to get all of the detail that you see in the stencil, and I have a feeling this sponge is going to be dead by the time I'm done, but all right, I have a feeling we're as good as we're gonna get. Let's have the reveal and see what we got. That's actually pretty cool. All right, I am going to take a paper towel and just kind of press it down to make sure we've lifted all that we can lift. So let's see, I don't know how well you can see the details, but yeah, it definitely lifted. And of course I've got a dog wanting to come in, but yeah, I like how that came out. That is cool. All right, let me go let a dog in. So I want to try doing another one. This is Autumn Splendor by Simon Says Stamp, and it's SSST 121487. I'm gonna pull that out, set that down on there, but first let's do some temporary adhesive on the back. I'm definitely going to use fresh dauber for this, because yeah, that's all kinds of black at this point. And let's set this guy down like so. I don't know how well this is going to work given how open it is, but I'm actually going to scoop down a little bit more, get that leaf fully on so that I have more room for placing my magnet. Since the paper's smaller than the stencil, I might as well do it so that it'll be easier for me to handle. All right, let's grab another dauber. Let's do some on here, and I'm gonna try and be a little bit more strategic in my work on this one by starting with my lighter spots. And I think I may just leave it so that I just kind of come along the very edge over here and leave that stuff all on its own. Start with my lighter areas, and I'm gonna grab a paper towel and do this as I go, because I think that will help with the lifting. I don't know how well this is gonna work because it's a very thin stencil. So there's great potential for the lift ink to get underneath the stencil on this one, but I Figure what the heck, let's give it a try. Worst that happens is we don't love how it comes out, and we can add more ink to it if we want to. Definitely seeing some lifting. Uh-oh. Let's try not to move the stencil around so much. All right, let's see how it came out. I can kind of see it a little bit. Definitely gonna come in with a paper towel and make sure I lift all of the ink that I can lift. I can see some of the leaf detail. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things, if you hold it up to the light, you can see it a little bit better. Give me a sec, I'll hold it up to the camera. See if I can get any more. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it. Here, let me see. Now you can. There's some spots where it obviously is showing up better than others. I think I may not have done a great job of getting the lift ink in this section. Plus these spots are have a really heavy buildup of the alcohol ink, so it's a little harder to lift in those spots. So that's something to keep in mind. A thinner layer of alcohol ink seems to be working better for lifting than thicker layers. I think that's all I'm gonna do for now until the ones we've got drying are dry, and then I'll show you the next step on those. So I'll be back. Okay, so the two pieces we put the texture paste on are dry, and so this is the texture paste sparkle, and it changed the color of things. It's a little bit more pinky orangey kind of color. Was not expecting that, but hey, this is why we experiment and play. And then this one's just all set and ready to go. I also did another piece off camera, and I used the clear crackle paste. So we're going to see what happens when we take off the ink with that, and we're going to use the isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to avoid for this one, I've got paper towel out, I'm going to avoid over here where we got some of the lift going on with the poinsettia, and just kind of add it over here. And just let gravity do its work and pull the ink down. Wow, if I use my nail, I can get full-on streaks of it completely off. Let's see, let's pull off a little bit more. And see, the other thing with the sparkle is I can't really see the lift stamping that we did is not showing up underneath the sparkle either. But let's take a little bit more off, say over here and around here. And what I may do is I may grab, let's see, I'm gonna grab a paintbrush and some isopropyl alcohol and get in around some of these leaves more strategically and lift off the ink. And if you're noticing my hand shaking, it's because I went outside to cull back some of the messy tangle of leaves I've got out there because I couldn't see my dog. And so, yeah, my arm's tired from doing that. And what's really sad is I didn't do it for very long, but yep. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know that I would necessarily do this exactly like this again. But it came out interesting. Let's go ahead and do this one, which should come out even better. So let's start over here and just kind of add the alcohol and wipe off where the stenciling isn't. So I will warn you, when you put it on, it makes the whatchamacallit, the texture paste a little tacky, so just be aware of that. All right, so I think I managed to actually wipe off all of the texture paste that was here. So yeah, that's not fantastic. So yes, be more judicious in your application of your alcohol because it will, like, and now that it's like dried, ooh, that's still a little sticky. It's less sticky, but yeah, I think because there's some spots in here that I should be able to lift that I don't know if I got the alcohol on or what. So I'm gonna just come in with my brush, make sure I don't have any red on, and do like over here. Now I think I did these on the new paper that I found, so I don't know if it would be reacting differently if I was using Yupo. So I may need to go back and have a play and see if Yupo works differently. So I may try giving Yupo a try tonight just so I can get it done in time to post, and I'll probably do it off camera and give you my results. Because yeah, that got all kinds of messed up, which is where our resist stamping was, but we still see some of it up in here and down here. I still kind of like the whole effect of using the texture paste and removing the alcohol ink. I think that still came out cool, if not exactly what I was going for, because I wanted more of that to still be showing, and got a little too vigorous and like wiped off the texture paste. So maybe a little more gentle with this one. Let me just go check on a dog and make sure he's not getting into trouble, because that's why I was doing some pruning, is because I needed to be able to see him. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this has got a crackle paste. So I don't know, let's be a little more careful in our application of the alcohol this time and just kind of not go whole hog. Do it like that so that the alcohol's running off. Being very gentle in my rubbing because I don't want to rub off the paste like I did last time. So I'm kind of more patting. Now this one I didn't do any like lift stamping. I just applied it to a piece that was alcohol inked because I just wanted to kind of see what would happen with the crackle paste. It's getting sticky again because like over here, not sticky. Over here, I've got a piece of paper towel stuck to it, but we'll leave it dry and then try and take that off. Yeah, the alcohol is making the paste sticky. Just trying to decide where else I might want to try and lift more ink off. All right, now I think for this one, to really bring out the crackle, what I am gonna do is grab and see how this goes. A distressed crayon. I'm gonna use hickory smoke. I'm just gonna rub that around over top and hopefully get it into some of the crevices of the cracking to bring out the cracks like that. Ooh, I think I'm gonna like this piece. I am going to wet a piece of paper towel and just kind of go lightly over top to try and remove some from on top so it's just sitting in the cracks. But yeah, it's bringing out our lovely cracking from the crackle paste. All right, so here, let me do a close-up so you can get a better look at, there's what it looks like close up. So it's got all the lovely cracks that are now gray, the lighter areas where there isn't the paste. I like how that one came out. Okay, so I went ahead and prepped another piece similar to this one using the Yupo paper instead of the other paper that I bought, which is by Impressa. So that's the new paper that I tried and that I really like, but I did notice something. The lift ink worked better on the Yupo. I got better lift. And I did use the same colors. So this one I use Lake Mist, Mushroom, Juniper, and Patina as I did on this one. And so you can see there's a little bit of difference in how it ended up coming out, just straight up inking, and that the lifting did lift better. So we're gonna see what happens when we add the alcohol, and I'm gonna do like I did last time and just pour a bunch on over here and start wiping it off and see what happens to see if we get the same situation we did with the Impressa paper. It's getting a little slick and sticky. So yeah, I think if I keep rubbing at it, I'm probably gonna pull up the glaze. So I am gonna be careful and kind of just let gravity pull it down this time. And then just gently tap to lift off the alcohol ink. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling the same stickiness where the glaze is, or the texture paste. That's what it's called. I knew I'd come up with the name eventually. I don't know how well you can see. It's just kind of like streaming off. But I definitely think it helps to go back in and do that to get all of it off. You just have to be careful because yeah, it definitely makes the texture paste sticky. So I'm gonna set that one aside for a minute and just let paste dry again, because yeah, this one, it's no longer sticky. Like, it doesn't feel sticky after the alcohol evaporates off of it, but there is definitely some stickiness when it's wet with the alcohol. So yeah, they both worked well. I think the Yupo might work a little bit better for getting the lift, but I did get, yeah, it's definitely both papers. The texture paste gets sticky when hit with the alcohol. And there's some spots over here I think need a little bit more lifting. So I'm gonna come in with the brush and be more judicious. Okay, so I think I'm good with both of those. I really like how they both came out. Definitely think the Lift ink works better with the Yupo than with the Impressa paper, but the removal works pretty much the same, and I get stickiness when I just pour on alcohol with the texture paste, regardless of which paper I used, so that's something to keep in mind. So we got those two, and let's do a close-up of the two of them so you can get a better look of. So there's like a good spot with the Lift stamping there, and there it is on this one, and I definitely think it lifted a little bit better off of the Yupo. So I may go back and try my poinsettia stamp on the Yupo instead of on the Impressa, and again we get the weird color with the sparkle, but I'm sure I'll find some use for it. This one I really love how it came out, and look at how all the little cracks are showing up because we added crayon to it. Then we've got the two stencils, and these were all done with using the Impressa paper, so I'm definitely gonna have to give a play around with the stencils and the Yupo. And yeah, this one did not work great. It's there, it's very subtle, probably because I did not pick the best stencil for that. And then we've got our stamp off, and then this is the one, and I think this is, feeling it, I think this is glossy cardstock, and yeah, it did not work very well. And interestingly enough, when I was editing the video, it showed up better than it is now, so I don't know what the heck happened, but yeah, it's like all but disappeared now. Like I can kind of off screen see where the stamping was, but not a success. This one, I love how this one came out. So this one is, I think, the Impressa, and it did a good job lifting on this one. So definitely something to experiment with, and then a couple more of our stamp offs. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.